Well, Guy Henderson is following the developments from Dhahran in Saudi Arabia. Guy, leaders from Arab countries are meeting in Saudi Arabia in the aftermath of those strikes by US-led forces in Syria. What has been the reaction there?
We haven't gotten it yet. You'll see on the big screen behind me here in the media centre some live pictures of those leaders arriving at this summit, so we might get some reaction in the hours ahead. What I can give you is an impression of what I think the Saudi position is on these airstrikes. You'll see here one of the front pages of the Saudi News, a Saudi-based newspaper. Mission not yet accomplished, it says, but a step in the right direction. I think that actually sums up the Saudi position. Saudi Arabia is very powerful. Crown Prince bin Salman has been pushing for a long time for America to take a more assertive role in Syria, primarily though to contain what Riyadh sees as the greatest threat, which is Iran and Iranian influence there. Now, the airstrikes that took place in Syria did not target the Iranian Revolutionary Guard in Syria. They don't appear to have had any significant impact on the balance of power on the ground in Syria. But in light of these strikes, I think politicians here in Riyadh view this as a process, perhaps the start of a process. And so as they gather these Arab leaders here, one of the things I think they'll be looking at is whether they can regain and rebuild some form of Arab unity here at the Arab League summit, so that they are better prepared to take action if that is required, if at some point there is an escalation in Syria.
And Guy, what can we expect from the summit's final resolution, and will there be any call to action, do you think?
Well, two things. It's a two-day summit, firstly, so we won't get any final resolutions probably until the end of this summit on Monday. Secondly, this Arab League meeting is pretty well known, pretty infamous, if you like, for not really agreeing on much, let alone acting on it. The consensus has really crumbled when it comes to Syria, with different countries here backing different groups. Different countries have different relations with Iran as well, so not necessarily a great deal of unity on how to handle the schism between Saudi Arabia and Iran. One of the things, though, that does unite all of the leaders here is their position and their stance on Israel. That is something that will be discussed in this summit, we think. We believe that the Arab League will push, firstly, for Israel to be taken to the International Criminal Court over the shooting of protesters in Gaza protests in the last few weeks. And also, we expect there to be a discussion around forming an Arab bloc at the United Nations General Assembly to try and prevent Israel getting a seat from 2019 on the UN Security Council.
Okay, thank you very much for that update. That was Guy Henderson for us in Saudi Arabia on the two-day summit over Syria.